A very good evening, viewers, and welcome to NT Sokoto Weekend News. This 29th of Safar 1434, after the hijrah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, which coincides with the 12th day of January 2013. I am Abu Bakr. The local government is the third tier of government which brings governors closer to the people at the grassroots. This evening, we are x-raying the performance of local governments in Sokoto State in the year 2012. And I have in the studios the State Commissioner for Local Governments, Faruk. Yabo. Commissioner, you're welcome to Weekend News.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll start with the day's news. And now to our discussion, which I told you earlier that we'll be focusing on the performance of local government in Sokoto State in 2013. And I'm being joined in the studios by the State Commissioner for Local Governments, Faruk. Commissioner, you are once again welcome to Weekend News.
Thank you very much.
Now, what are the basic responsibilities of local governments as a tier of government?
Federal Republic of Nigeria operates as a federation.
Okay.
And in this federation, we have three tiers of government. We have the federal government, the state government, and the local government. Each of these tiers is by law and constitution assigned with certain metrics of responsibilities. So the responsibilities of local government, which is they are contained in that article, it's to provide the immediate health care to the community, and issue of sanitation, providing preventive measures to control disease and disease outbreak, and also to support educational activities in addition to the provision of general security. So this, by my reckoning, is what the role of local government is.
Okay, now let's look at how much was budgeted for the local governments in 2012 to undertake their responsibilities in Sokoto State.
You see, this is a very difficult question to answer because each local government has its own budget.
Okay.
And so Ministry of Local Government, what we do is we try to guide them on their budgeting process. And when they develop their budget proposals, they present it to the ministry. And the ministry, along with the chairman, we present it to the assembly. So I will not say how much each local government, because it's not a combined budget. We don't do budgets for them. So each local government, depending on their revenues.
Okay. Tell us, what other duties do you perform as the Ministry of Local Governments as regards to local government concerns?
By law, the Ministry for Local Government oversees the activities of local government councils. We regulate within the sphere of jurisdiction we have. We encourage them most of the time. We guide them, and we offer them the professional service that is not there, because when it comes to project vetting, you see that sometimes the proficiency is deficient at that level. So the director of planning and his staff will sit down to analyze. Sometimes we even refer some of these things to the Ministry of Work. And then when they bring their proposals, they have a limit to which they can operate. The chairman, the elected chairman, has his own limit. And then the council itself, they have their limit. And then whatever exceeds their limit, they bring it to the ministry. And the ministry will forward it and seek the approval of His Excellency. And in doing that, we have to vet and see whether their proposals are, consistent with the budgetary provision, whether the projects are part of what is in the budget or can be part of the defined priorities. So it's a very, very good collaboration.
Okay.
We have developed, and last year was incredible in terms of that relationship.
Okay. At times, local government councils are accused of performing below standard in the execution of projects. Now, what is your view as regards to this allegation, and what is the ministry doing to ensure proper monitoring of projects at the local government level?
You see, every project, like I said, we have given the local government the relative reasonable degree of autonomy.
Okay.
in the area of recurrent, they do that. And depending on what you have as a local government council in your account, we accept any proposal as long as that proposal meets the standards and the requirements, of the law. So what we do is, when they present their proposals, we vet them. When we get the approval, we send it back to them, and we deploy our staff and the zonal inspectors who are there closer to them to make sure that that project is done. The other projects that they execute, that is below what they can come to the ministry for, we also ask them to present their monthly returns. It is from that monthly returns we are able to identify whether that project is executed or not. And the whole thing is about capacity and injecting that feeling of transparency to the people. And in 2012 and since 2010, 11, that capacity development aspect has been, a major priority to this administration. And then we have been collaborating with different organizations, to make sure that this Fiscal Responsibility Act is adhered to. Last year we had a seminar which was organized by EFCC and some NGOs. We are all there, and then the RTI lead on capacity building, transparency, and we are doing this. So we are transiting to, very well. We are on a journey that, is going to be a very, very positive journey at the end of the day.
Okay. Now, taking a look at the local governments, how much have they done to impact on the lives of their people in 2012 in terms of project execution of various types, roads, water, electricity, etc., etc.?
You see, I talk about this matrix of responsibility. In the local government, there are projects that the state government executes on its own.
Okay.
And sometimes the volume and the financial proportion of this project is small, because, for instance, you can see a road project that will connect one ward to a local government headquarters amounting to $1 billion or more. Local governments will not have that capacity.
Certainly.
So state government is doing that. Then in other areas we collaborate with the local governments, whereby the state government pays 60% of the cost and the local governments will pay 40%. Then another tier of that collaboration is where the local governments themselves, the 23 local governments, through their own platform, umbrella Algon, will also decide to execute a common project, an uniform project. So they also do it under the scrutiny and supervision of the Ministry for Local Government. But essentially last year we have built clinics, almost 244 clinics. The project here to each ward in Sokoto State. The project started in 2010 and realized in 2012. And in 2012, all the supplies were delivered, and now they have been delivered. In addition to that, the ministry, in conjunction with the Local Government Service Commission, recruited 1,500 personnel that will be posted to these 244 wards to manage this hospital. So I believe that it's something that will change a lot of things. If you go to Kwandawa, for instance, Gagi, Kasarawa, and the remotest part of the state, every ward they have this. So by the time you have health facilities closer to the people, I think that is something very, very commendable. Then two, we have also awarded projects for the construction of 5-kilometer road, asphalt, to each local government headquarters of this 23. The contract for the central zone commenced in November, and the western zone commenced in December, and then we are now going to have the eastern zone. The proposals for the commencement, we are waiting for the budget to be approved, then the eastern zone. So by the end of 2013, we are going to have 5 kilometers of asphalt in each local government headquarters. Then in addition to that, we are building 2 houses for the personnel that will manage those hospitals in each ward. So 244 clinics will have 3-bedroom, 2 3-bedroom houses.
Okay.
There, so that the nurses, the midwives, and the health workers we will have, because that has been the challenge now for the last when we started deploying the equipment, we realized that is also another challenge.
Shelter.
Yeah, so we are providing that in 2013. It's in the budget, and by the time the budget is approved, then that project will commence, which means that you have a hospital, you have and it will get to the extent of providing them with ambulances that can carry them to the primary health center. In case you have complications that cannot be treated at that level, they can go to the general hospital in the local government headquarters, and from there the case can be referred to the tertiary hospitals.
Okay. Now let's look at the sources of funds for local governments, and what are there other sources of funds apart from the monies given to local governments by the federal government? Are there other sources of funds?
Definitely, because local government, they have their own revenue collection jurisdiction, like the motor parks, the markets, the tenement rates, for instance, and other areas, and some of them are doing incredibly well. But what we have been doing now, which is a challenge to the country also, it's like federal government is trying to create non-oil revenues. This is a very clear national development strategy. The state government is doing the same, and we are encouraging local governments to do the same. And we have created a lot of sensitization seminars for them to see the imperative of doing that. And this is what we have always said, that by the time people also on their part, they have to contribute. The perception in the past was that if I pay tax, I'm not sure how the tax I have paid will be whether it will be judiciously utilized or not. But now you have the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It spells clearly what a public officer, if he misappropriates. So I feel that now people are beginning. We have seen the commitment in the state. We have been doing very well in terms of revenue generation. So we are encouraging the local government. We are creating different sensitization, different avenues, and making people to believe that if the local governments are working, then you can do that, because the fluctuation in the oil price is variable, and everybody now believes that we have to develop the non-oil sector.
Diversify the economy.
Yeah, diversify the economy.
Okay. Is the joint project still in existence in Sokoto State?
You see, it depends on what you mean by joint project. I have told you that we have projects that the state government executes directly. Then you have projects that the state government and the local governments will execute, where the state government will pay 60% and the local government will pay 40%. But by law, we have 15% from the local government that is dedicated to that joint project account. So where we have projects that the state government and the local government will execute together, that account will contribute 40% and the state government will match it with 60%. Then where the local government councils themselves decided that they are executing a common project, they will also go to that account where there is no involvement of the state. So this is what you call the joint account, joint project account. But in most cases, the state government does its own project, and even those projects are executed in the local government council. Then where the state government and the local government council will work together, then you have 60 by the state and 40. So we go to the joint project account and take 40 and match it. Then where the local government councils themselves, they are executing a common project, they also go to that account and contribute equally. The ministry will only supervise and guide them on the best way to execute those projects and to make sure that there is strict compliance to procedure and standard.
Okay, tell us more about the joint project between state and local governments in terms of the nature of projects being executed under this joint venture.
Normally they are capital projects. Like I told you, we have done a lot of roads, standalone roads, because a local government cannot execute ₦1 billion road here. I mean, when you look at how much they have. But in some cases, which in most of the cases that I know, the state government has not done any collaboration. When you look at most of the major roads that you see in the state, they are all 100% paid for by the state. But in the area of water, maybe sometimes, not all the water provision of water, sometimes we contribute 60% and the joint project account contributes 40%. In the area of rural electrification, we also do the same. Not in all cases.
Okay.
In most cases, the state government is the one that is footing the bill.
Okay. We are in 2013 now. What should the people of the state expect or anticipate from the local government councils in terms of project execution?
You see, we have started. There's a history of, a very good local government administration and financial management in Sokoto State since the coming of this administration, which His Excellency Dr. Ali Magatakarda Wamako is chairing. And so many projects. I remember when you go to each local government, you will see between 30 to 40 houses constructed, a lot of road networks, and then we now have the clinics, and then we are equipping the clinics. So we'll make sure that in 2013, these medical centers that are in every ward in Sokoto, with the personnel we have recruited, will function. We'll make sure that there will be houses, 2 houses from each of these 244 clinics, so that the personnel that will manage these clinics will have decent accommodation to operate effectively. I will make sure that every local government headquarters will have 5 kilometers of asphalt within the metropolis, within the local government headquarters, so that there will be decent and flexible movement. But the vision is, we started with the local government headquarters. In 2010, we are descending to the wards. So by the grace of God in 2013, the hamlets are benefiting from water scheme and whatever. The development strategy will descend to everywhere in Sokoto State, to the hamlets.
Okay.
So this is, I think, then of course we are developing the agriculture.
In fact, that's the area I wanted to take you on, because you spoke on the need to diversify the economy from the non-oil sector. I had wanted to ask you on what you're doing to improve agricultural sector, so that at least, since we have a larger population living in the rural areas, what are the local governments doing?
You see, in fact, most of the collaboration now we are trying to establish with the federal government, with the MDG, with the development partners, is on creating entrepreneurship, creating jobs, reducing poverty. But we are connecting this with agriculture, because we believe our strength is agriculture. And when you are training people how to farm, it's very easy, because this is a state where the predominance of our business and orientation is from agriculture. So what we are doing now, for instance, with the local government headquarters and the MDG, we are empowering 3,500 people who we are going to get, and we have already use a credible committee from these benefiting communities and from across the 23 local government, that each committee that we constituted, that went and selected 25 people, constituted of the village head, the imam, the councillor, the elder and the headmaster. They are the ones that we inaugurated last year, and they have compiled the list of 25 people who need this. And then we are giving these people at least 157,000, but we are giving them a program on agriculture, on poultry. We are starting with poultry, because we have the skills acquisition centers that we constructed last year. The one in Kwari and Bodinga, they are operational. The one in Gorenyo is 90%. We have bought vehicles that will be conveying these people to go and stay in these skills acquisition centers for only 2 days. Because, I mean, we are trying to change the strategy of skills acquisition. We are trying to give people what they know, but element of mechanization and improved seedlings or improved, species.
Okay.
So what we are going to give them, we'll give them chickens that they will take, that will that will lay after 2 weeks. So you have no complication. And by the time you give the layer, the right feed, it will continue to lay till the next 1 year. So you are making money and we are giving you allowance. And then the following year you migrate.
Okay. Yeah. Though time is not on our side, but I would like to ask you quickly on what the local governments are doing in terms of educational development at the grassroots in a nutshell.
The educational development, I think the local governments are connected together with the state. It's a priority, very, very top priority. And from the statistics we are receiving, from the northern Nigerian Northern Initiative, you said, we've seen that Sokoto State has done extraordinarily well in terms of developing education. Perhaps 26% of our budget, capital of our entire budget for the last 4-5 years has been on education, and I believe it has increased. So I think we are on course. Okay, so we are running the discussion now, but before we do that, quickly, what is your last comment as we call it today? My last comment is we should just continue to get the cooperation which they have been given to this administration and to this governor. By the grace of God, 2013 will come with a lot more projects that will impact on the lives of the people. Okay. This is our promise. Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, Minister for Local Government, Faruk. Well, viewers, as you might have seen, I have been talking to Commissioner, Minister for Local Government, Faruk Yabo, and we talked on the issue of local government administration in Sokoto State in 2012, success recorded so far. Until we come here, God willing, next week with another exciting episode of the program. Until then, from the Commissioner, thank you. Thank you. Until we come your way, God willing, next week. Good night. Thank you.